And now the timer, it only counts down from 20 to 11. It doesn't give me the last 10 seconds.
Okay.
Inexplicably. All right. Hey, everybody. Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 2 is over, called Far From Home. But we're here to talk about that here on Live Long and Podcast. I'm Dave Mader, joined with my wife, Jane Mader, and some great panelists here to talk about this episode. We have Michael Chan. How are you doing, Michael?
Good. Yourselves?
I'm doing well. And Adam Woodward. Adam.
Hello. Excited to be here.
Great. Glad to have you. And Jane.
Hello.
How are you doing tonight?
Hello.
How are you feeling after this episode?
I'm feeling good. Good.
Jane's feeling good, but it's kind of a good. So we got to get back to that. Let's go over to Michael. So Michael, how are you feeling just overall, but Far From Home in the second outing for season 3?
I enjoyed it. I called it. I said that there was a potential that they would jump to what happened to Discovery, and they did. So I'm actually quite happy with the way they handled it. Personally, I love the Red Dead Redemption / Borderlands feel to it, which is why I'm wearing my Borderlands hoodie today for this.
Right.
But yeah, no, I felt. Even though it's action heavy and CG heavy, I think this is par for the course now, and I enjoyed it. I really did.
Okay, and I don't disagree with anything you've said so far. And Adam, how are you feeling about Far From Home, episode 2?
I'm bursting to talk about this. That was awesome. It was so good. The whole thing, I've been waiting for a show for so long to come along that I'm in the first 2 episodes hasn't disappointed. It looked awesome. Story was great. Characters are getting interesting. And that's my opening.
Yeah. Okay. And we're gonna get back to the good.
Well,
with the
it's
teeth.
just one point that I'm a little worried about. So we'll get to that.
Okay.
But,
there's something that concerns Jane.
Yes.
So we got to break that
I have
down.
a big concern about something, and I could be wrong. I don't know, but
Yeah. But the headline at this hour is that the time span between episode 1 and episode 2 is an entire year. Because Michael Burnham shows up at the very end of this episode because it's everybody else but her, because she had the whole first episode, and they're reunited very quickly here. We thought that this might take a few more episodes. We were speculating, but it's right away that they're reunited. But her hair is very different, and it's been a whole year. So I'm sure that they're going to get a series of flashbacks, and we're going to get a lot of that backstory filled in with what Michael's been up to since then, and she'll be way more acquainted with this time period than anybody else. And just is that going to be something that pays off? We'll see. I think that I'm getting vibes of Supernatural season 8.
I don't remember. I don't remember what season that was.
Well, that's okay. It's not a Supernatural podcast, so it's not. Those references are not. I just thought that'd be a fun one.
Ashley was here.
If Ashley was here, she'd understand.
Sorry.
Right. How I felt about this episode was that I think it was another step in the right direction. I think that at least we'll see. I won't really have a full opinion until I see episode 3. But I think the fact that this was episodic in nature, that there is more character development you saw here, way more character interactions. We saw a lot of pairs in this crew bouncing off each other tonight. We saw, Jet Reno and Stamets and I guess Culber. They're kind of now something, I don't know, like a trio of sorts, and with a sort of a little jibber jabber going at each other. We also had Commander Non, who's a carryover from last season and the whole Enterprise crossover. So she's now joined this crew, and she's the Barzan with the breathing apparatus, who's very suspicious of Georgiou, and so they were kind of going back and forth tonight. We, of course, we also have in the front of the ship, we have Detmer, Remember the Lieutenant Detmer, who's the pilot of the ship, and the ops officer, whose name I forget right now. But
something.
yeah, it starts with a
Oh,
number.
it's yeah.
Oh,
I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm reading
Yeah.
it, so
Yeah, it's I did used to know it, but they were kind of going. And then we had Saru and Tilly were on the away mission. A lot going on in this episode. Really a lot of character development. I felt like this crew coming more in, and I just feel like Georgiou, though, in particular, doesn't fit in with this crew. And I don't understand how this is going to play out.
I don't think she thinks she does either.
No, I don't think I'm like, what's going on here? What are they trying to get at? Because she's a villain. And so is what's the long-term plan is here to sort of integrate her into this cast as a anti-hero a la Deep Space Nine, like someone like Garrick to be sort of this rogue member of this cast who is but is going to be along with the mission.
Do you think she's as likable as Garrick at this point?
No,
I think that's a problem. Yeah,
she's not likable. I don't think. Like, how do you feel about Georgiou, Adam?
I think it's too early to determine this. I mean, honestly, she could have taken Saru down, and that would have been that. But she still she sees use for him and the crew, and she's got a purpose, and we don't know what it is yet. However, I do believe that she will be the likable, crazy aunt at the end of this. I mean, and the crew will defend her and all that sort of thing, but again, she does that fight scene was awesome. Again, just taking out everybody, rescuing the guys, but it didn't look too good. It really didn't look too good for Saru and Tilly there. So I enjoyed that part of the episode. Actually, I enjoyed the whole episode. Can I just go right to the beginning for a second?
Sure. Let's go back. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about sort of our initial reaction, but I do want to walk through everything so we don't forget anything.
Because the beginning scene, the opening scene, was very not Undiscovered Country. The next one, Generations. The crash of the Enterprise, the crash of now the Discovery. It was they just did it better. 20 years later or whatever it's been now. So it was for 25.
Yes.
It was good.
A great way to crash a ship. I thought it gave me there's an episode of Voyager where they crash into this ice planet or whatever over and over again. If you recall, it's like almost in a time loop sort of scenario. Harry Kim's responsible, of course. It's always Harry. And so that felt a lot like that scene to me. Great act, great. I thought it felt, I don't know, like just like how Michael Burnham came in hot last week into this new time period. We see the Discovery have a similar sort of chain of events where they kind of crash somewhere and then they have to sort of deal with where they are at and kind of figuring out.
Michael and I, last week before we started, we're talking about the expense of the episode, and again, they didn't disappoint. They're spending some money. So, yeah.
Anyway. I think that they're really putting something into the ship. But the whole show, like I feel like the writing is tighter. I feel like the characters are starting to get each other, or at least the writers are starting to understand how to use these characters in a way that we actually might find entertaining. So it's, I know I'm a little more negative on the previous seasons than the rest of the group, but I'm feeling more optimistic about the show. Michael, how are you feeling about this opening with the whole ship crash? And
I loved it. I was going to make the same note about how similar to the Enterprise crash and just how the technology they have now to make it look so good. I think I read something. I was in an article or something where they said that a lot of the post was done at home because of COVID. So I'm curious to know, with everybody working from home instead of from the office, and how it looks so darn good. Did I guess this new world we live in and the way people work, could it be they were just more comfortable and then doing better work? Because holy crap, this was good stuff.
They're at home in their pajamas, and that just works.
Right?
For me, it does.
Right? It's somehow makes everything look better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. It was very like I was very in the moment, which I think is a testament to the fact that, you know, like it brought me in. I'm like, okay, whoa, like, you know, we're here, and Detmer, and you felt like they were the struggle, like and how this is what Star Trek's supposed to do. The whole crew and this whole bridge crew have to like work off of each other, right? You know, I'm going to do this and you're going to do that, and somehow we're going to get through this all. Is sort of the whole point of how these things play out, and I liked it.
It's a great point, actually. I think that what they did there was really show the managing of the crisis. You don't see that in other episodes or other series as much. But there's a lot going on. You got the sick bay happening. You've got all the broken parts of the ship, and everybody's trying to manage things. And they did an excellent job of showing all those components going on. And that sick bay scene was pretty intense too.
Oh yeah. There was some
I
noticed something about this, especially this series as a whole, but especially now is you know, I'm not sure if it's because the old series didn't have as big a budget or what, but like they're willing to show injuries in a more gruesome manner, a more realistic manner in this series than any previous series that I can recall, at least. Like there's a lot going on, and I found it very impressive and refreshing, because man, when stuff goes bad, it should be like a war zone, right?
More realistic.
Yeah, like there's been a lot of controversy in the, I'd say, Alex Kurtzman era about how much violence and gore and blood has been used in Star
Pulling
Trek.
out of eyeballs.
Yeah, Star Trek Picard famously had this scene where those eyeballs getting drilled out. That was one of the more intense ones.
I haven't seen that series, so
Okay.
I didn't tell you who gets their eyeball drilled out.
Well, no, now that I know, I will keep my eye on.
Keep your eye on it.
On it.
All right, and some fans are like, no, that's crossing the line. I don't care. I like the more realistic they make Star Trek, I'm fine with that, as long as it's not departing from what Star Trek has already established.
Well, I mean,
I guess, if that makes sense.
Despite everything, it still felt like Trek today, right? With the problem solving, the crew interactions,
the higher morality.
Feel like it was closer to the original series in a way, that they're out there on their own now, like alone, and they're going to meet new people and like it's more of
there's first contact, there was diplomacy, there's problem solving, crew interactions, and a hopeful
morality.
Morality. Yeah, it's Trek all the way through, just with better graphics.
Yeah.
Right. And if the writers are going, like, of Star Trek Discovery, who I think have had to pivot a few times with this show, and if there's some sense of them going like, here, is this what you want? Then I think my answer would be yes. I would say that this is what I want. I want more self-contained stories that are character driven, and have like these themes of morality, loyalty, solving a crisis, and sort of, and hope. I think the big thing, like with these people they meet in the bar, I think is all about that. Like, like the sort of the reputation of Starfleet and the Federation all these centuries later is still pretty strong, because a lot of people, it was people led by example, and that the merits of that are still carried through, even though there's bad guys like Zara.
Zara.
Zero.
Let me
write it down.
It is Zaher.
Zara. Yeah. Okay. He like a warlord, a mobster of sorts.
An outlaw.
Anyway, I'm not going to spoil Picard for you. But
boy.
But they arrive, and after the crash, I thought, okay, here's the one thing that Jane and I picked up on was just how many more people were on the ship than we were expecting there to be. Because at the end of season 2, I got the impression like there was only those people in the corridor who were talking to Michael about how they were going. So I thought at most like 20 people were coming along, right? But it's more like they say it's 88 people.
88,
was anyone else surprised by that?
I was. when we went down to sick bay and you see all those people injured,
Yeah.
and Michael, you're right. I mean, gosh, they crashed on a planet. There's going to be people flying around the ship. There's going to be people hurt, and it's good. It's good to see that. It's good to see that they're recognizing that, hey, it isn't all sunshine and light. You just don't land and get out. But man, yeah, there's a lot of people there, and that's good. This is going to be an interesting season. I mean, you got a lot of.
Also, speaking of people, Ensign Hazmat, just the janitor. That was awesome. I loved it. I was like, oh my god, they're showing the janitor. Well, I mean, he's an ensign, but still, the janitor.
You mean Gene?
Great.
I was wondering, why wouldn't they just beam that out or do something? Like, there's got to be a better way than a shovel.
Okay, here's the question: did Gene volunteer to go onto this like one-way trip to who knows where? And that's what he's been assigned to do.
He's his family, and
or was that already his job? And he's like, "I'll come, whatever."
Well, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, I guess somebody got that was cleaning up the villain of last season. I think they felt the need to write that into the story.
But Reno, just with that dismissive, I've forgotten that already.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was
right.
great.
Yeah, I forgot your name already. She's the comic relief.
She had a lot of one-liners.
But she has always been that. I mean, that was one of the.
I like her. Yeah.
She is the Zingbot of the Discovery.
Yes.
Michael, we
I have a question about that 80. Oh, I definitely am. I wasn't sure about her when she first showed up, just because I was a little worried about the comic nature of what I thought she was going to be. But now that I've seen more of her, I appreciate the witty repartee between her and other crew members.
Yeah, I think I've worked with people like Jet Reno. I think I know people like Jet Reno, because she seems like someone I know in a lot of ways. So, did you have a question before? I thought.
I was just going to say, now that they've noted how many crew members there actually are, I'm curious to know if anyone's going to start kind of like keeping track over time. It's like, wait, that's more than 88 people now.
We should start a Discovery Deadpool.
Yeah, and the other thing is that means I still have a shot as an actor.
Voyager, because now that you have this crew that's been sort of removed from like a situation where they can go to a starbase and people come and go from the ship, like the other crews do. Now they have like these particular 88 people on the ship for now.
I think we've established that we never knew everyone on Voyager.
Voyager had 150 people,
of which we knew 10.
But we never saw 150 different separate background people. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe we did.
Maybe we did.
I'm keeping track of these things, or somebody is, and I'll be looking into it and reporting back. So watch out for that.
Should start a crew list just to see how many people there are.
Yeah. Are they consistent? Because I saw like there was the one that Jet Reno was talking to, the lady. In the I don't know. She was only there for a moment.
It's H last name.
Yeah, but she was there for a while. I'm like, well, is she going to be a recurring character? I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do because the bridge crew, like
Nilsson. It was Nilsson. Sorry.
Yeah, they got these different bridge crew background players who I think have been there since like first season. Like there's Detmer and the person whose name we can't pronounce, and there's Lieutenant so he's like the tactical guy. I don't know their names yet, but they've been around. Yeah. So I'm kind of like
and that's what I found as a problem with the show is that we don't really we knew other shows.
Well, we will know their names if they from now if they take focus now and like looks like they're setting something with Detmer because we see Detmer here gets hit tonight.
Okay,
and that was the mystery, right?
This is my problem with the episode is Detmer. My fear.
That was I liked it.
So what's your fear? Because I'm curious because I feel like she's the mystery moving forward.
Fear is what is that implant that is my fear is that control is in there. Is that a possibility at all that she's infected with control?
I don't think that was it. I think that she got a little bit of post-traumatic stress. Like she landed the ship. She comes down to sickbay and sees a person die in front of her, And I think there was a, oh my God, I caused that death.
Okay.
And I think that's where she was really. If
And they
anything,
also they
I hope
showed
so.
her flipping over the panel though when the ship hit. She was the most thrown of the entire bridge crew.
Okay.
So her stunt actress did a good job.
Well, yeah, like okay, so Jane, when you said that, my heart dropped because
Yeah.
I am done with the Control storyline.
Because so like, just the control guy was killed
Yeah, George
on the ship.
microwaved him or whatever.
And how do we know that he's not still on the ship? Like, how do we know that?
That's a fair question.
His guts are there, right?
Well, I think that Gene is a great cleanup man, and we don't need to. Are you questioning Gene's work ethic or scrutiny?
I'll move on and just hope I'm completely wrong.
you know,
I hope you're wrong too.
6 episodes and go, oh my God, you were right.
Yep, we're gonna come back.
This is what happens when you get Gene. You should have remembered Gene's name, Jet Reno, because now you're not seeing this thing coming. The return of Leland.
Dispose of this.
He's coming back through Detmer. It's going to be Leadmer.
Oh,
No, it doesn't quite work. Detmond. No. Let's move on. Okay. So they go on this quest.
Yeah.
Saru and Tilly to go get the Rabindium. This is all, they don't have enough Rabindium to do what they need to do. I wrote that down. So that's, I'm not sure what the Rabindium's used for, but they need it to do their thingies.
They need it.
And it's quite a few things. But remember when that guy shows up, you see, I think it ends up being Cal, where we see them in like the distance of the shot, wherever that was. There was
that was a creepy shot.
I don't know if that was a practical
Freaked
location or not, but or if that was all CGI or maybe a little bit of both. But pretty impressive. It had a cinematic feel to it tonight.
oh yeah, the whole thing.
A lot of these scenes, it felt almost like not unlike the Star Trek 2009 movie in some ways too, and especially this like Trek, like Kirk and Spock and they take through in that movie, and a little bit of that here. And when we first see him, it's just like, oh,
yeah,
oh,
that was a horror.
And then we see him turn around and he goes the other way. They're like, first contact. All right, let's get going. Or at least Saru is. Tilly's a little bit more. She's a little more apprehensive, if you will.
But you know that when he recognized the fact that she's nervous and he's, she goes, I talk when I'm nervous. And again, great leadership compared to last night's talk. Keep talking, Tilly. Tell me how things are going. Just to get her away from the ship and get out of. I thought he was again a great leader and is really stepping up since he's had his implants taken away. Just not much bad about this episode. It was just so good. Just every scene, it just ran into something else. I go, wow, I really like that. And what happened? Like even during that fight scene where I forgot this, or maybe it never happened, but those things that flew out of his head, like what the heck?
Yeah, I said, did we know he could do that? And James said,
exactly. Did we?
I didn't remember.
I thought we no. Okay. Thought we did. I thought we no. But anyway, we can look that up.
Well, now
maybe his sister did it. I don't recall. Like,
yeah, it was fun. That was fun.
I liked it.
So then they go in that saloon, which I liked. I like that scene.
They go into the saloon, cool. And that's yeah. But okay, so they walked into this valley, but then it's a transporter that took them somewhere else, up into space, right?
Was that what that was? I thought it was just like a veiled something, and they walked.
Oh, I thought it went up to one of those floating asteroidy things. That were in the air.
Okay.
Yeah, they went up to space.
The transporter. It was
the sky. Yeah, Sky Saloon. Okay. I thought it was at least
Sky Saloon. Yeah,
it was the Sky Saloon.
Sky Saloon.
Yeah, it was not on the planet itself, and which was interesting. The only thing I thought though is when they walked into that, I'm like, you guys. If you walk into a thing that happened to transport you into a nicer location, great. It could have easily beamed you into a volcano and or it could have vaporized you, but it worked out for them. So it and then it was kind of a cool aesthetic of maybe a little too obvious with being a saloon and the Old West, but whatever, it's fun. And very like Mount Eisley in Star Wars and whatnot. But
I disagree with that comment about the Star Wars comparison. Just, it wasn't lively. There was something wrong. The people are depressed. You can see, they're all looking down into their drinks. There's nothing happy about what's going on there. You definitely sense there's something off here. When you walk.
Oh yeah, it's not like a kind of place, but it was
no hammerhead.
Yeah, it doesn't feel. It feels almost, but it feels more like Nimbus 3, like in Star Trek 5, like kind of worn down, sandy. Yeah. I'm like,
so none of you play Borderlands? No.
Borderlands, yeah.
Because
I don't.
Borderlands is like it's a different planet, and it's the future, and it's like a future Western Mad Max thing combined. And then they recently had a DLC that basically brought in, because they've been spoofing other genres, like they just had a whole Lovecraft thing that I played through during the pandemic, and then now they have the Red Dead Redemption kind of DLC, and there's definitely hints of that in this episode. I was like, yeah, it's Borderlands Saloon, Future Saloon, and everyone's depressed. So
yeah, like just more. Yeah, I don't know what the exact word I'm looking for, but sort of like a dystopian sort of.
Yeah.
Very, it is, yeah,
yeah.
It's very lived in. I feel.
Right.
Yeah.
It was very lived in, but I guess that's fair enough because but this is, they've been, at least in terms of humans, we've been in space at this point for almost 1,000 years. So,
yeah, but a lot of the previous treks, things, even in more lived in places, it still feels a little newish because of the set pieces they use. Not really their fault. It's meant, even when it's meant to be run down, I always felt like the way they set decorated was a little bit too bright in the past.
Yeah.
The old Star Trek stuff.
Always, yeah. And
you're totally right about that.
It's the feel. Oh, sorry. Yes.
I agree with you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
no. Just saying
I'm just going, yes, Michael, I agree with you. But
so they're just now they're going with it, right? Now they're making it more realistic, which is why it's it looks like that, and it's amazing.
Yes, it feels lived in. It feels real. I guess there is a tonal change from what you're right, where it looked when they shot this in Hollywood with whatever skid of sand they rented for that day to shoot their desert scene or whatever.
Did you guys watch Firefly?
Yep.
Firefly. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of that.
Right. Like I think Enterprise also had some pretty high production value times, but
it did for its time. Yeah.
Well, think about the Old West with the Data and Worf episode. Like that was still, I think, back on that, and that's pretty clean.
That's still like an old Hollywood backlot somewhere.
Yeah, it wasn't a dirty Old West. No.
Right.
Do you feel like maybe as this season goes on, there's going to be, because I did feel like this was a partial nod to Firefly, that and then last episode was kind of Star Wars-y. Would they be continuing to nod to different shows and different aspects of the sci-fi genre is what I'm wondering.
If they do, that'll be awesome. Like, it shows a lot of respect, but it also shows just, the crossover. And the fact is, there's no real new stories. It's just recycling things, but they're doing it very well.
Yeah. And then even with the ice, like, have you guys watched, I think it was called The Day After Tomorrow?
Yes.
Where the world was freezing, except the ice for some reason seems sentient, even though it's not supposed to be. Well, now it is.
The sentient ice that will it gets down your throat, though, Michael. Watch out.
Oh yeah.
Like the whole thing in the bar. What I really loved too was just when they draw their weapons on them or whatever, and Tilly talks them down, right? Where she's like, "Hey, it's kind of scary to have guns pointed at you or whatever." I thought that was good writing, good acting. Well done.
She's quite good in that role, like the real person, I guess it is, rather than the facade of the officer. You know what I mean? She's who she is, and I've always liked that about that character. She's not really changing so far this year. She is what she has been.
Yes, I think that they've dialed up certain aspects of her character in the past that maybe I don't always appreciate a lot. Like her quirkiness, which I appreciate is part of who she is, But I liked her performance and her role more tonight because I felt like she still was herself, but was doing things, was not just making one-liners or whatever. Like, let Jet Reno do that. We want to see. We also want to see, be yourself, but also be good at what you do. And I think that's kind of what I always look for in a Star Trek group. Like, what does each character in this main cast, especially, bring to this team dynamic?
But she's sort of a Lieutenant Barkley. She's very brilliant. She has everything there, and she just can't get it out. Well, and, it's confidence. It's all the confidence, and it's that character that she's gonna. And you're probably right. She will be developing because they're going to have to build the confidence up. And, it started last season. I think the real change was when she was in the other universe and she had to play that role. But I really like her character. I think, there's lots of room there to grow and get the confidence and be a real command figure, but still maintain that human part of her. She's not Starfleet. Like, she doesn't seem Starfleetish to me.
She does now more to me now. Like,
she's unpolished. She's very unpolished, though.
Yeah, I feel like that's why I'm like, I the past sometimes I feel like, shut up, Tilly. Come on, just get on with it. But she feels more Starfleet to me tonight.
Like, Georgiou had a problem with her. What did she say? I didn't catch what she said, but I knew it was a diss.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
We kind of skipped over that scene too. Just the whole scene with Saru and Commander Nan and Commander Georgiou and Ensign Tilly, right? And I was like, I wrote down, everybody's a commander. There's Commander Burnham, there's Commander Saru, there's Commander Nan, and there's now Georgiou's a commander. I don't know what she's a commander of exactly. She was the Empress from the Terran Empire, and she was a Section 31 something or other, but agent, I suppose.
And what's Tilly's rank right now?
Ensign.
Okay.
And what's the doctor?
She was a cadet.
The doctor,
okay.
Culber, I think he's a lieutenant, and I think that Stamets is a lieutenant commander. But I guess what I'm getting at is that there's no captain. Who is going to be, is there going to be a captain of this crew? Because the first season we had Jason Isaacs as
Lorca,
but he ends up being that ended up being turned around, and then basically it was Pike in the second season, but he was kind of like a loner captain for the season. So really, to me, it comes down to two choices. It's ultimately, I think Burnham or Saru will emerge as the captain of this particular, or the official long-term leader of this crew.
So
and
predictions?
I think it's got to be Michael Burnham, though, right? Like, she's the main character. She's the protagonist of the series.
But Saru, I feel like would make more sense only because of everything he's been through, and he's certainly proving he can do it.
But Saru will just give it to her. He'll step aside.
Oh, no. I'm not disagreeing that this is what probably will happen. I just feel personally that it makes more sense for him to be captain. If this was a real thing.
I think if it was a real thing, I guess. But in the terms of the story, and I think they'll be better served with her as the captain,
unless she ends up being number one.
Yeah, my gut is that it's going to be Saru, but
I think ultimately whoever the captain is, the other one is the first officer, or vice versa. Right. Maybe it doesn't really matter.
I feel like she'll say no, it's yours, you take it, and he'll take it.
It's not Georgiou. It's not
Georgiou.
Just watch it. Then it's going to be her, and we're all going to be groaning.
When we say, "Oh, why is it Georgiou? Why is she the captain of this?"
Can you imagine?
I like Prime Georgiou. Mirror Georgiou is whatever. I like when she comes in and has her fights here. But okay, so the guy that was, remember the guy who threw up on them in the turbolift last year
with the big eyes?
With the big eyes, is he a Saurian? Is that who that is? Did you the guy who has the visual spectrum who can see all those things?
I don't know. I don't know what a Saurian. I know they have
Linus
Brandy.
He's a Saurian.
He's a Saurian, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Pardon? Sorry.
What's his
Linus?
Linus.
His name is Linus. He's played by David Benjamin Tomlinson. who's a Canadian actor. He's played some other characters as well. Yeah, but so yeah, he was kind of funny. He like just that voice modulation that they put onto that alien. Because we haven't really had a Saurian character before. We've seen them sort of in the background. They are a Federation main planet, and that's they have the Saurian brandy. Anyway, they were fun. I thought I had fun with that guy, and Georgia took a big interest in him. But why is she looking to hook up with him?
Maybe.
I think she's going to use his eyes.
Oh.
Wants she to eat them?
No. She's going to take advantage of him and make him. That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, what is she using him for? She's going to take advantage of him somehow.
Well, we never saw him after that one scene, so maybe something already did happen.
She does like Kelpian, so why not Saurian?
Yeah, eat it. It's threat ganglia or whatever the hell it was. Yes. Yeah, just the Saurian guy. Okay, back to the saloon, and then Zara shows up. Okay, or Zara or Zorro.
That guy. What's his
guy?
name?
Okay,
Jake Weber, right?
Jake Weber. Okay, I know where this actor's from.
Dawn of the
He's
Dead.
from Dawn of the Dead. That's who that was. Okay,
Wait,
the new one, or the newer one from 2004.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's actually been in a lot of other things, but he's quite good. That guy.
If you've ever seen Dawn of the Dead from 2004, everybody, or anyone else out there listening, that he plays like this guy. He's the one who says, "We're going to the mall," and he's kind of like the hero character of that story. And he's butting heads with Ty Burrell during the whole thing, and what's his name? The other guy from House of Cards. Anyway, so. Right, good cast in that movie, and this guy, I was like, I know this actor, Jake Weber playing this character, great mullet too, amazing mullet. But he's like the gangster, I guess, of this area. He's the one running the racket.
Warlord.
Yeah, he's the warlord or something.
Something like that.
I don't know. He had like two henchmen that Georgia took out at the opening day. That was his whole thing. But I guess it's desperate times here in the 32nd century, and lithium is hard to come by. There's lawlessness. It's the old west in space.
Yeah.
The metaphor will not be lost. Anyway, so he shows up and he ends up killing. Well, he wants Discovery. He talks about the ice parasite, but that's to me that's that's neither it. But he kills Buddy, Cal.
Yeah. That I find was like, that was the one big giant cliche they had in this, where the guy who helps the heroes ends up dying, because they do that in everything. It's almost like Hollywood doesn't want people to ever help people in need. It's just like, never help someone because you're gonna die.
Right.
And he was very likable.
Yes. As they always are.
I have a question. Where are we in the Federation space? Like, are we out on the outer limits, or
No.
where are we?
Well, okay. The only clue we're really given here about where they don't even really know. They just called it the colony. Remember, they said they did.
No. Like, I mean, like, okay, so where, like, the wormhole? Like, where did we start? Like, are we?
Well, okay, and these guys
Alpha
mentioned
Quadrant?
that they could sell the dilithium on the Tellurite exchange.
So we're near the Tellurites.
And the Tellurites are very much near Earth.
Alpha Quadrant.
So we're not very far from Earth here, presumably.
Okay.
Just based on that one hint alone. And so like he kills Cal with this gun, which I guess it's more of like a taser, or it's not a fully powered phaser. It doesn't kill you right in the first blast. It has to be like held on you until it.
But you know what? They've always described a disruptor as like, tearing you from the inside out and taking forever to do it. And it sort of they've always described that in Star Trek as that's that weapon. And now I sort of feel like we saw it tonight. As far as the time it took and how painful it looked, and just awful way to die.
Yeah. It reminded me of that episode, The Most Toys, I think it's called, with Data.
Yeah.
And the guy grabs it. And at the end, that woman is killed. And it looked like so painful.
Right. Well,
There's only
that
four
was
of
in that
those.
episode that you're referencing.
Yeah.
There's a phaser that was outlawed throughout. It was through interstellar law because it was notorious for killing. It was it vaporized you very slowly. It was considered inhumane, and so this was worse than that. It looked like. So I was
Blood
like,
coming into your eyes and
yeah, stuff's coming out of your eyes and whatever. And I was
Could
like,
it be like a heat ray, maybe?
"Screw-" Yeah, like, it was
Heating
just,
you
it
from the
looked
inside.
pretty awful.
I mean, he was
It's like,
cooking for a
Saru,
long
kick
time.
him with your
after
big hoof or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Georgiou could stand it. No, I knew it wasn't full blast, but she got quite a few hits.
Oh, but don't you love her line? You know, pain makes me whatever she said. You know,
It's
Can't
a
remember.
It's foreplay.
foreplay. Yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah. So,
I guess, but she got shot with that thing a lot.
A lot. and she had blood coming out of her eyes too, but I guess she's tough. And it was
Tougher than Cal. He's dead. So
Yes.
it's
kind of
I mean,
stun
different
setting.
species too. So
okay, yeah, maybe they die faster, or humans or Terrans are more resistant to getting burned up. Sure, who knows? So yeah. Anyway, so that's all happened. I was just like, whoa, that was intense. That was. There's gonna be some Star Trek fans who won't like that. I'm not one of them, but there will be some who won't like it. And I'm just kind of the only thing else that like I wrote after that was about Detmer. I go, question mark, Detmer, what's going on with her?
Exactly. Well, it's PTSD or the other thing we weren't going to talk about. Control. I don't know. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Really hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well, I guess the only right. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm jumping around here a little bit, but the only other thing I was thinking about this final scene, yeah, not control, please, not control, but was the fact that this whole morality tale at the end, where Georgia shows up, she gets shot all these times, she wins it with her amazing fighting skills, and the fact that she gets the world, she understands. This is the problem with these naive Starfleet types. They need Georgiou because she kind of gets it. She sees these villainous Zaras coming along, right? And like, just let me kill him, right? And I bet you that this guy's showing up again.
Oh yeah.
And this is
he's totally.
and she's going to try to make a point to Saru about this, but Saru's absolutely right in the way he handled this. She's not right, and she will not be justified if he does show up again. Like,
Well, that's the whole thing about Starfleet or the Federation is like, yeah, you got to do the right thing. Like,
right.
And in the end, it's supposed to work out.
Now, this guy was a murderer.
Okay.
I think that letting him go was a mistake, but
It's not like there's anywhere they can put him.
Yeah, there's no brig. Well, I'm sure there's a brig on, but they don't want to put him in a brig. What would Janeway do? She couldn't take him along.
Yeah, and then he become a valuable member of the crew. I mean, come on now.
Eventually.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't. So.
well, he's a great actor. Like, let's see what we could do with this guy. Like,
Well, that's why-
we saw him in Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, he's coming back.
Maybe he has Sarah Polly's number. Get her on the show.
That's right.
Can you imagine if she showed up next episode? That'd be
Yeah,
great.
they reunited in some kind of love story. That'd be great. I'd be all about it. And we get all the cast of Dawn of the Dead slowly back on Star Trek Discovery from 2004.
And then we'll have a zombies episode.
Yeah, we get Ving Rhames in here.
Well, we
Yeah.
had that
Kai
on,
Pfeiffer.
Lower Decks first episode. Didn't we?
It's true.
And didn't watch that either. But
didn't watch
good to
that?
know. I haven't seen Lower Decks either. I haven't
Oh no,
had much time to watch stuff lately.
it's good.
It's
I
it
wanna
doesn't
watch.
connect to any of this stuff at all. Yeah, check it out. Totally recommend it. Like, and I guess
There's
the other one,
zombies?
just bring it. There are zombies.
Yes.
It's worth watching.
I'm happy now.
You're caught up on that, Adam?
Yeah, done. It was great. That when I was watching your podcast, I watched it the next day. I couldn't wait. So it was great. Great ending.
So yeah. No, we really enjoyed doing those podcasts, and I'm really enjoying doing these ones too. Talking about Star Trek Discovery, because I feel like there's more. I talked about this last week. Less baggage now that they're in this future time period. I kind of want to find out what's going on. versus worrying about how it as a prequel before was syncing up with other things, which doesn't bother every fan, but does bother me. So it's it's I'm enjoying this so far. Like 2 episodes in, I thought the ending of this was good with what's Burnham been up to and where are we going next.
So, on that, then, so that guy who was watching the quadrant for Starfleet ships must have seen this coming in and sent her along the way. But before we get to that, one question: what is wrong with Reno's back? Do we know this, or is this something new too? Did she get hurt in that crash?
Yeah, I thought she just tweaked it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's my impression. What do you guys? Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, I think it was part of her comedic thing in this episode. Like, oh, I got a hurt back, so I'm gonna yell at Stamets through the comm.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't want to get up and do the work, is what it looked like. But hey, and one more question: in the poster, who's next to Stamets?
Yeah, I was looking at that too. I was like, who is that?
So I don't know the name of this character, but this is one of the new people who will be joining the cast. So
the non-binary. She's the non-binary. Oh my gosh, I even goofed that up. It's a non-binary character.
But yeah, there's going to be a couple new characters on the show this year, and that is one of them.
I guess the guy next to her is too. Looks like Chief Terrell from Battlestar.
Who?
Oh, here, just let me take down our pictures here for 2 seconds.
Isn't that the doctor?
Yeah, that's Culber. That's
yeah.
Culber.
Oh, it is. Okay, sorry. I can't see. It's too small.
Yeah, he's back from the dead. So, yeah. So I don't know how there's a new character. I believe there's gonna be a new Trill character that's coming in this year too. That's not this character.
That's not that new character.
That's not that particular character. So, I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this. I know nothing more.
It's exciting.
It's exciting. Where are we going next, everybody? What's Burnham been up to? Do you think her and Book have been? What do you think they've been up to?
Adventures.
For all we know, it's been a year. Maybe they had a kid. For all we know,
maybe
saving endangered things.
Yes. Yeah.
They could be married.
Taking care of Grudge, the cat.
The Grudge the cat might be like there might be the next generation. We don't know.
I have one of those myself. She's back.
What? Cat?
My cat.
Oh.
You're not as big as Grudge, though.
I got 3 of them. They're all together. They're all big.
We have 2.
Because Grudge, we got 2 here, but Grudge is like a Maine Coon, which is like
the
size of a dog, basically, like a medium-sized dog.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else stood out to you guys in this episode? Like, what other characters? Anything maybe we didn't cover yet?
Oh, I like the programmable matter. That was cool. Was that the term that? Remember when he was putting?
Yeah, when he fixed or replicated it, essentially. That was.
Yeah, I thought that was.
Yeah, he was putting the thing together, and that was something that Tilly had never seen.
Yeah, Tilly had never seen it.
The control.
Go back to I watched the first episode again last week after we had watched it, and that whole opening again was really cool. When the commissioned officer now was putting, how he gets out of bed and the bed just kind of collapses into the floor and then his desk rises up. It's awesome. Like this technology, really
brushing his teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're having some fun with the future tech, and again, they don't have to worry about that technology wasn't invented in that decade yet or whatever. Then, this is why they should have maybe started this show from the get. At
least they made it here.
They got here anyway. So, and they have an interesting backstory, if anything, on how they got here. Mm-hmm. But
which I don't know if there is. I know. Time travel has been outlawed, right? I don't know what governing body.
Right.
So they're going to get in trouble for that. That could be an episode that's coming up.
I think it's definitely. I think that is most likely coming up. I don't know how big of a role that's going to play. If that's just going to be like they get captured for an episode.
We don't even know who's in charge or anything, right?
Q. No, I'm kidding.
Q. Well, yeah.
Well, Q's not. Yeah, Q could undo this dilithium thing, but
Please
he
no
doesn't.
Q. No Q.
There's no Q.
No, I just don't want that. That would be just
You
too.
just
want
don't need
it?
that because it's kind of like it's like, yeah, exactly. You can solve any problem with the snap of a finger.
Yeah.
So these
Thanos.
issues that were like, oh no, like the Federation's is crumbled and there's all these resource issues but Q could solve it all. So yeah, his presence kind of cheapens that.
I think I would stop watching if that happened. Hey,
Mm.
I'm just warning you.
Yeah.
Oh no, I meant Q runs everything.
Oh,
The Emperor, and so he
Emperor
outlawed
Q.
time travel.
He's like, I like the cut of your jib, Michael. I like the way you think. So, let's do it.
But no Q. But
Yeah.
it was a joke.
Oh, what else?
Well, yeah, the programmable matter that was new to Tilly, and I think that's I don't think that's something I've seen before exactly in any other Star Trek. So that was kind of a neat concept. I think because that's where Star Trek isn't Star Wars to me, where Star Trek has technology and they're explaining new weird ideas, and Star Wars is just more adventure and go and things like that. And so that's what I really look for in my Star Trek is kind of what I got tonight. What I think. There's like they're I like where this is going more so than where it's been. I keep saying that, it's not like I hated it when I watched it the first 2 seasons, but it was always felt like there was something not quite right. There was always things that were clawing at me, and I feel like at least so far these two episodes they weren't there.
hey Dave, are you looking forward to Strange New Worlds?
Yes, I think so because I really liked Anson Mount as Pike, but no, because I don't know if I loved Ethan Peck as Spock, because I just think it's impossible to replace Leonard Nimoy, right? And I think that it's one thing to take over Jeffrey Hunter's role, but Leonard Nimoy is like a cultural. It's like trying to play Elvis, or it's trying to
do Zachary Quinto then.
I don't think it really worked with Quinto largely. Like either. I think
It's a different universe, though.
It's a different universe, and it's fine. But he feels like I think of the new cast, he feels the most out of place within his group.
Fair.
And he has this burden because Leonard Nimoy is in his movie, and they do have a scene together, and none of the other characters have that burden. Where it's not like Shatner's talking to Chris Pine, for instance, or whatever. And so it's just, yeah, he physically looks like him pretty well enough, I guess, but it's not that. It's the spirit, the energy. When I watch Spock, when I watch these old original episodes, which we watch every week, Adam, you and I and Jody and my dad and Jeff, we watch the original series on Wednesdays here on Live Long and Podcast, and that Spock does not feel like the Quinto Spock, which is there's more of this new universe and you can make it a new version, but the Ethan Peck Spock is that Leonard Nimoy Spock. That's what they're telling us, right?
I thought he was great until the beard came off, until the last couple episodes. It was very much a mystery, right? What's this guy about now? Why is he like this? But then he just took that off and he became very young. And did you see the short treks with him and number one in the elevator or in the turbo lift?
I saw like clips, but I haven't watched them all. No.
Okay, watch it, and then we can talk about it. Yeah, it's 7 minutes. It's interesting.
I got some issues with the uniforms. I like that they have made them the colors, right? The yellow, blue, red. But they got like the piping and the shoulder pads, and
I love the uniforms.
It's a breasted jacket. I'm like, no, what's going on?
Captain Pike and some Mount. You're right about him. He's like so cool looking. He looks the part. Got the hair. The uniform looks so sharp on him, but it doesn't look sharp on the others. So I'm going in with this when it starts. It's about him. And I'm really hoping it takes that role.
If it's just the Anson Mount Pike show and that's what I'm watching it for, great.
I'm really excited because they said it's going to be more episodic. So that's what I'm in for. Plus him, Anson Mount. Like
Yeah, and we talked about last night. I was like, because last night we watched an episode of the original series called, sorry, what was it called? Obsession. Yeah, and it's where it's dealing with Kirk's backstory, like when he was a lieutenant on, and it would cross over with this same time period that Discovery, or sorry, that Strange New Worlds will be touching upon. So it's very, and we don't know how Leonard Nimoy and Shatner, Kirk and Spock met exactly. When the show picks up, they're just on the ship together already. Like, so there's stuff you could explore there that they met. They could do that a couple seasons down. So I guess from that standpoint, yes, I am excited for Strange New Worlds, but I don't need any more Spock talking to Michael Burnham ever again. I that's my only request. They can have no more heartfelt
Family
conversations, long drawn out goodbyes that go on for 20 minutes. That's my only thing.
Fair.
Yep. Fair.
So, what else? I think that's it. Like,
I'm nothing else to say. I'm just happy.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was a fantastic second episode. No disappointments. Let's go to number 3 because that was great.
Yeah, and I won't tell you the title. We established we're
title.
keeping it a secret.
Yeah,
this one was called Far From Home, and I don't know. I guess that's fine, but
Thwip.
yes, you're thinking, oh yeah, Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah, it's good.
That's why you had that Spider-Man joke. Okay, all right. Well, thanks everybody. Did we?
Are we rating these? Did we?
Have we rated these? Did we rate last week? I can't remember.
No.
You know what? It's okay. We don't. Do we want to? Do you want to start rating them?
I don't need to, but if you want me to.
You know what? We're gonna rate them. You know what? Because why not? So, we've never done it before on this because Jeff and Jane and I, who have been podcasting on this show since season 1, we're doing that in those days. But we can pull that up. Just give me a moment to create a little template. Talk amongst yourselves. So Jane, ask a question.
I'm not a host.
Hey, one more. I mean, I can fill the air here. What about just the relationship between the Doctor and Stamets again? Nice to see that back. Happy about it. I was. It was good. Good.
It's good to see them back. Yes.
Yeah. I think it's a really. It looks real. You can feel that there's something going there. So I enjoy those two.
I like that relationship.
I like that they're back together because their little breakup last year was just a little more than I could handle sometimes. And I thought that I got just enough of those two in this episode. I thought it was just the right amount. Their dynamic was good. I think that those two playing off of Jet Reno was fun. One
more thing on that. It was another parallel. You remember again the scene from Wrath of Khan where, who was it? Captain Kirk. He's got the ensign's blood all over him, and he didn't take his jacket off for a while. And again, we had the Doctor all covered in blood. Again, realistic. I liked it. I just wonder why they wear white all the time.
Why they wear white? So we can see the blood on them.
Yeah.
Did you see the sick bay that there was a guy in a white uniform, but he had a plastic shield or plastic?
Yeah, I saw it. The
covering
plastic
on him. I'm like, that makes sense.
Oh, did you guys notice the pineapples and stuff hanging in this, like in Saru's quarters or something? Did you see that?
No, he has pineapples in the quarters. Just
I don't know if it was. I have to go back and look at that.
The plants from his home planet. Doesn't he keep plants from his home planet or something?
Maybe. But they're hanging. They're all hanging.
Huh. I thought there was some weird, funky thing.
Okay, I almost have this ready to go.
Okay.
And so last week's episode was That Hope Is You, right? This was called Far From Home. All right, and boom. And let's bring it up. Okay. So we're going to be rating both episodes, the first episode and the second episode. We'll go in order. And I'll start. So I think I will give last week's episode, in retrospect, a week later here, I'm going to give it a solid 8.3.
Okay.
Is that too low? Was I too harsh with that? Okay. And so,
It's like your father.
yeah.
I'm gonna go 9.
Okay. Michael, last week's episode?
Ooh. I would say, 9.
I went back and watched it again with my wife, and I'm going 9 as well. It was great.
Okay, and Jameel's going to be joining us next week, so he will get his rating then.
Unless you're watching, Jaemeel, then maybe you can type it in the chat.
Well, I don't know if he's watched it yet.
Oh, never mind.
But
Jaemeel, make up a number.
Make up a number. Okay.
Oh, we got a comment here. Someone who says Jet Reno's the best. Good vibes.
True.
Yeah, I was enjoying Jet Reno.
I like her.
Okay, so let's get okay, so I'll do an average for that. Let's go back the other way. Adam, you want to give us your rating for this episode?
Oh, I'm going higher. I loved tonight. I thought it was fantastic. Going with a 9.5.
9.5.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Right. And to Michael.
Staying at 9.
I have to go 8.9 because of Detmer.
Well,
I gotta
give it a chance. We don't know where it's going. Okay. And you know what? I'm gonna give last week. I think I was too harsh by 8.3. I'm gonna go as high as 8.9. Okay.
Oh.
And, yeah. I'm going to also give this. I think this was in the same ballpark. I'm gonna give it about an 8.8. So we're on the same. So our average for the first episode was a 9, and this was a 9.1. So doing pretty well. That is much that I am. If we're coming out at 9s, guys, I think that's a sign that things are going pretty well here on Star Trek Discovery season 3.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be happier because I'm not going to lie, season 2 was rough for me. I had a hard time with it. So I'm glad that there's a new.
I had a hard time with Control. But
the Control storyline. I'm like, no, don't bring him back. Don't bring him back. Don't bring Leland. Get Gene to scoop him out and throw him out.
I love Captain Pike. There was things I loved about it.
There was things in season 2 I liked.
Yeah.
I just think Leland and the Control storyline and just everything, and Spock and Burnham. Anyway, I don't want to harp on it, but good episodes. So
watch the short treks.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna take that off. All right, and just we're gonna say goodnight as it's 11:30, I guess, and we are
very late. Yep,
we are. It is getting late, so we've been out on for over an hour. So just to, I always gotta plug all our stuff. So Tuesday nights we do Star Trek Deep Space Nine rewatches here on Live Long and Podcast. We are in the second season now. We just did an episode called Necessary Evil from the second season, which was really great. So check that out as we continue our 3.5-year journey to talk about that show episode by episode, week by week. And then Wednesday nights, we watch a random original series episode. Adam, Jody, Jeff, and my dad and I, we're all over there. We'll talk about that on Wednesday nights. We just did Obsession last night, and can't remember what we're doing next at this exact moment. But
Space Seed we're doing next.
What is it?
Space Seed.
Oh,
Space Seed.
Yeah,
We're doing Con. That's of course. I put Con here in the background. Yeah, and then here on Thursdays we do Discovery, and we did Lower Decks before too. And so check that out as we have 8 more weeks of Star Trek Discovery to talk about this show. And on the weekends we do Star Trek Radio Theater, which we're going to be doing this one on Sunday this time. We got Jeff, my brother, playing Captain Kirk. Our friend Mott is going to be playing Commander Spock in the episode called Plato's Stepchildren. Ashley Millard playing Dr. McCoy and narrating. We got Kevin Millard as Alexander. Michael's going to be playing Parman of Platonia. And I'm going to be playing his wife, Michael. You and I better get it. Oh, yeah. Gene, watch out. I'm married to Michael now. And Jessica is going to be playing Uhura and Christine Chappell and Dionide of Latonia. Gene, you're going to be playing Heraclitus.
And
Lieutenant Commander Spock, right? It could. I'm not sure if it's Heraclitus or if it's
Heraclitus. I don't know. We don't
no,
know.
it's not. There's no. You're adding syllables there
sorry.
where none exist. But phonetically, yeah, Heraclitus maybe or Heraclitus. And Scotty. You also on Scotty.
Just go with that.
Yeah,
Just go with that.
Heraclitus.
So that's gonna be a lot of fun. So check that out whenever you want. Really, you can watch live on YouTube and Facebook, or you can listen afterwards. And we also have our other channel, Super Mater Brothers Podcasting, where we talk about Big Brother and other reality TV shows. We did Westworld earlier in the year, and everything that's not Star Trek, basically, that's TV and movies we do over there. And so those guys, so Jaemeel and Jeff, they were doing Big Brother tonight. That show is almost over. As the finale's next week, it ends on Wednesday. So luckily, I don't have to miss anything for Discovery. And that's great. And then we have our Halloween episode on our third channel, Trivial Debates, coming up, which is going to be hosted by my hopefully by my friend Jerry McCrae, our scary Jerry, for a Halloween episode of Trivial Debates. So check that out. I don't know what that was about. I just felt like really pumping that up. So anyway, thank you to the whole panel. We'll be back for episode 3. Jane, Adam, Michael, thanks everybody, and make sure to live long and podcast, and have a great night.
Have a good night.